Welcome to our posts. Today we will see stories of r/malicious compliance. Yes, please punish me by making it harder for you to bother me. The owner of a small company issued me a company cell phone that I didn't need and felt that gave him an excuse to call me any time of day or night, work day or not, with stupid questions. He also kept giving us, those of us with company cell phones, changing rules about using those phones. One rule was that we had to answer as soon as possible. Another rule was we were not to talk on the phone while driving, we had to pull over and park, then answer and talk. So one morning I'm driving to work and should get to the office about 15 minutes early when he rings my phone. Morning traffic is heavy near the office, and it takes me some time to get out of traffic and park in a parking lot before I answer. He keeps it ringing the whole time. When I finally answer, he asks, "Where are you?" I tell him that I'm about 10 minutes from the office, but I had to stop to answer his call. He asks, "Why aren't you here yet?" I tell him again that I probably would have been at the office by now, but his call and rules have me sitting in a parking lot instead. I ask, "What is the hurry? Is there an emergency?" If I wasn't interrupted, I would have been in the office early. He responds, "Why aren't you coming?" I remind him of his rule that I am not to answer his phone and drive at the same time. This type of stupid banter continues for a while until he gets tired. So he hangs up and I continue to the office, now about 15 minutes late. When I get to the office, owner meets me and demands that I give him back the phone. Says I do not deserve it. Hooray! Now he is unable to keep calling and bothering me. About a week later, owner stops into my cube and asks why I am not answering his cell phone calls. I remind him that he confiscated that phone. Apparently he shoved it into a drawer and he cannot hear it ring. Yeah, I moved on to greener pastures not long after this. Next story. Fire this person that doesn't work here because they can't help me. Hey everyone, got a short but sweet little story for you from the other day. So I was shopping in my city and went into a small business store there that I like to get my dice and tabletop games at. I frequent this store pretty often and have become acquainted with the owner. We chat during my visits, and as I am one of those I put the items back on the shelf after I am done looking at them type of person, it is understandable that this lady might have confused me with an employee. Quick info, the owner only has one employee who wasn't in that day, and the store isn't too big, easily manageable for one person alone, no uniform, just name tags. Following conversation ensues. Lady, I am looking for game, don't remember exactly. Me, don't think they have it here, but lady cuts me off. Lady, then where can I get it? Me, sorry, I don't know but. Lady, how can you not know? Do your job and tell me. Owner, joins us due to the commotion, sorry, is there a problem? Lady, are you the manager? Your employee here refuses to tell me where I can find game. You should fire them. Owner, looks at me, smirks, best customer care voice, Opie, you are hired. Lady, confused. Me, catching on, oh, cool thanks. Owner, you refused to help this lady? Me, sure did. Owner, you're fired. Me, ah, dang. Owner, to the lady, now what did you need again? Never seen someone look that much like a fish and then huff and puff out of a store, honestly one of the best encounters of my life. Next story. Don't bother me unless it's an emergency. Background. This morning I got into my car and realized I left my headlights on. Thankfully, modern technology meant it had automatically switched off when the key was removed. But it reminded me of a time where that wasn't so. Many years ago, I was working one of my first jobs in a little cafe, nearing the end of my training period. It was a quiet day, perfect to put the newbie on with only one experienced staff member. The experienced staff member called in sick. Boss had to come in and cover until Sue could come in early. Boss wanted to use the time on site to do paperwork out the back. I'll be in here if you have any questions. I very annoyingly had a lot of questions: how to avoid an incorrect transaction, or to find more special paper for the credit card machine, what to do when the coffee grinder stopped working. Finally, boss said I'm busy. Don't bother me unless it's an emergency. Let me know when Sue is here. Shyly I replied, that's what I came to tell you, Sue just arrived. Great. Any more questions, ask her. Sue took over the coffee area and got me on restocking, clearing tables, and emptying the bins, and other necessary grunt work. I went out to the outside bins through the little staff parking area and saw my boss's old car there with the headlights still on. I went back to my boss's office. "Boss, is it an emergency?" Boss snapped. "Not to me," I replied. "Then go away." I left quickly. I went to tell Sue instead. "Sue." Then I changed my mind. Boss doesn't want to be disturbed unless it's an emergency. So I'm supposed to ask you if I have more questions. Sue and I worked pleasantly until the end of my shift a few hours later. As I gathered my things to leave, boss ran by me, knocking into me a bit. Without turning around to see if I was okay, boss said, "Sorry, I'm in a rush." I slowed down to see what happened next, getting out my brick of a phone to text my mother I was on my way home. I could hear my boss swearing. Up. Oh no, boss realized that was what I was going to tell them earlier. I was in trouble. "Can you bring your car in and give me a jump start? My battery is flat." Only a few cars could fit, so only senior staff and management could park there. I walked here. I live 10 minutes walk up the hill. I raced off before my boss could blame me. The next time I was on shift with Sue, I asked what happened to boss. "Headlights left on. Got a flat battery." Boss tried to jump started with my car, but it didn't work. Had to call a taxi. Funny that neither of us noticed the lights were on when we walked by it. And I realized, of course, she had to have seen it when she walked in. I can only imagine why she didn't say anything either. Next story. Not allowed to remove my neck brace? Okay. Years ago, I was in a bad car accident. An older man turned left in front of me at an intersection and T-boned me. Ambulances were called. I was put on a backboard with a neck brace and brought to the hospital, where I was deposited on the gurney in a hallway as there were no rooms available at that time. I laid there for quite a while waiting to be seen. My injuries weren't bad, basically just got banged around and bruised up, so I was okay with the waiting. But I was in pain and laying on my back was very uncomfortable. I didn't think there was anything wrong with my neck. The only pain I felt was due to the damn neck brace digging into the bottom of my skull, and I really wanted to lay in a different position, not only to alleviate some of the pain in the rest of my body, hopefully, but also because I was parked right under a light that was blaring in my eyes the whole time. So I started taking off my neck brace. A nurse spotted me doing this and ran over very upset with me and told me I had to keep the neck brace on. I tried telling her my neck was fine, but she was adamant that I not remove the brace until the doctor had examined me. Which I get. I'm guessing at the very least it goes very much against protocol, and at the very worst it would have been a huge liability if I took the brace off and there was something wrong. Plus I didn't want to piss off the nurse or be one of those patients, so I begrudgingly complied even though I thought it was overkill. I tried to reposition myself as best I could to the least painful position, not very successfully unfortunately. However, the damn light blaring directly down was driving me crazy, even when I closed my eyes. Finally, out of frustration, I took the blanket that was over me, pulled it up more and threw it over my head. Finally, no more light in my eyes. Bliss. I just laid there trying to block the pain and daydream to pass the time, wondering how long I would be there for. Not too long after I hear what sounds like a bit of a commotion and someone saying something about a dead person in the hallway. I was like, OMG, that's freaky. I got that there were no rooms available, but to leave a dead body just laying out for everyone to see? I thought that was uber creepy. Suddenly, the same nurse that gave me crap about the neck brace pulls the blanket off my head, scaring the crap out of me, and she starts yelling at me that I'm not allowed to put the blanket over my head, and what was I doing? It was then that I realized the dead body they were talking about was me. Haha, I said, oh crap. I'm so sorry. I just wanted the light out of my eyes and I can't move my head with the neck damn brace on. To say the nurse was not impressed would be an understatement. But she did find a room to move me and position me not under any light, which I thanked her very much for. She just gave me a surly look and walked away. Sorry. LOL. Next story. Sometimes you just do what the customer wants. One of my employees accidentally sent out the wrong item on an internet sale. Person was more than just pissed. We offered return at our expense and will ship the correct item as soon as possible and original shipping would be refunded. But knew that wasn't good enough for this person. Told me I should fire Steve for this. Steve, not his real name, had made a simple mistake and things happened because we were in the busy time of the year. Now this was 2 weeks before Christmas and I finally replied to this angry customer. Dear customer, thank you. I appreciate your insistence that action be taken in this case. I had been building a case to remove Steve from the company for some time and this helps me seal the deal. You aren't the first person to tell me this. Thanks to your complaint I have given to Steve his walking papers. He was very upset. He even cried a little bit and asked after 4 years how I could be so heartless to fire him 2 weeks before Christmas and that he was the only source of income for his family with 2 kids and disabled wife. I simply told him he kissed off the wrong customer. Sorry Steve, but Santa won't be visiting your kids this year. Oh and Steve, sorry, but you no longer qualify for your year-end bonus. I thanked the customer because his complaint was gonna save the company a lot of money and as a reward I was making his $8 purchase totally free. Customer sent back a very long email where he profusely apologized over and over to the point they must have been crying at the computer while typing it out. They were shocked and stunned I would fire someone just before Christmas and had this attitude that it was a good thing. They literally begged me to hire him back. Well, Steve and I had a good laugh reading what this angry customer wrote. I saved the letter and over the next 2 years sent it out twice more. Steve was not only a good employee who was honest and caring, I also considered him a friend. Give the people what they want and suddenly they realize they are the monster they hate the most. I hope you guys like this video. If you did, make sure like, comment, share and subscribe the channel or posts.